What's up guys, Anthony here, welcome back to the channel. And today I want to talk about church trauma. I've had other videos and I believe this is church trauma part 4. And I would say that the title of this video is Not Everything is Spiritual. What tends to happen once we start to go on for God and once we start to learn and grow a little bit spiritually, that most people tend to make everything spiritual. They tend to make everything about God and church, and they seem to forget that we have natural lives. We go to work, we go to school, we do other things other than church. So a lot of the times, everything or their solution to everything is basically just pray about it, or I'm gonna pray that this fixes, or I'm gonna pray that this happens. But that's not really how we're supposed to do things. I believe that a lot of the times when we go through church trauma, it has to do with people, right? Offending other people, or people doing things to hurt other people. And sometimes they want to blame you for their actions, or they want to blame you because you got offended and that's not how they meant it, and that's pretty sad. So what tends to happen is that we start to view church and the people in church as hypocrisy, because these people that are supposed to be a representation of love and acceptance, right, are offending you and not taking accountability, or they're not working that relationship. Even Jesus, when he taught on the Sermon on the Mount, he said, if you bring your offering to the altar and you remember there at the altar that you have something against your brother and your sister, leave your gift there, reconcile it with your brother and your sister, and then come back and offer your gift. We know, we're not dumb, right? We know when we offend somebody. But the majority of the time, we don't like to take accountability for what we did, and we just want to put it all on God. Well, God, I didn't mean it that way, or I didn't mean to offend them, so I'm just gonna pray and you fix that. That is not the right way to do things. Like I've taught my kids since they were younger, there's consequences for your actions, right? And as much as we want to be relieved or pardoned from these consequences because we are Christian and we go on for God, and God forgave me so everybody else has to forgive me, that's not how things work, because there's still the natural side, the humanity side of things. Yes, God forgives you for anything you've done, and he's forgiving you and washed away your sins, but there's still the natural side of things that you have to really take accountability for and fix so that it can be moved on from. Because God is a God of balance. How can you say that you love somebody and you have the love of Jesus and you want to go on for God, but yet you can't see somebody, or you judge people, or you treat people badly? It just doesn't match up. And so I remember telling somebody one time that not everything is spiritual. You have to put in the work when it comes to relationships, whether it's brother and sister, parents, children, friends, anything. You have to put in that relationship. You cannot wash your hands from that situation and just give it to God. That's not how it works. If you messed up or you offended somebody, you try to rectify that situation. You go and say, hey man, I messed up, and I really want to ask for your forgiveness for what I did for you, and everything like that. You can't just say, well, I tried already and I'm just going to give it to God. No, you have to continue to build, to restore that relationship. When we go and we try to restore a relationship with somebody and they're like, oh, well, I can't forgive you or whatever. All right, well, that's fine. I tried. I'm moving on. That's that. Can you imagine if God was like that with us? He is there constantly. He is there always. Hey, remember me? Hey, I miss you. Hey, won't you spend time with me? He never gives up. And we are supposed to be a representation of God. So if we've offended somebody that caused them to leave church, then it is our job to restore that soul back to Christ. It is our job to do anything in our power to, if they don't want to have a relationship with us, that's completely up to them. But our job is to continually to show love and ask for forgiveness in an effort to get them to come back to God. Because of us and our actions and our words, we cause people to go astray, and we just use the cop out of it's just That's just how it is. It's the devil trying to attack. It's the devil causing separation. When at the end of the day, it was your actions that caused that to happen. So we honestly have to do better as a church. We have to learn that whenever we make mistakes, we have to be accountable for those mistakes. There's consequences for our actions. And the law, the natural law, understands that and acknowledges that. If you are drinking and driving, you're going to go to jail. If you do anything illegal, you're going to go to jail. So how come we try to give everything from the natural over to the spiritual and just say, God's going to handle it, or I'm just going to pray and God's going to fix it? That is not how this works. It's we do our best to ask God for forgiveness of the things we've done, naturally and spiritually. And then once that happens, we have to ask God, Lord, how do I rectify this situation? Give me the words and understanding in order to restore this relationship, in order to help get this person back on track, or to build a relationship if, needs to be rebuilt. I believe that the big issue when it comes to church trauma is that people leave church because they're supposed to be a representation of God and love and acceptance and, brotherhood, but yet whenever somebody messes up, they're the ones not being accountable for their actions. Being a child of God, being somebody that knows the word and everything that's in the word, and reading that Jesus is love and you have to be just like Jesus. Jesus never offended somebody, and if they were offended, then he did everything in his power to build that relationship. So that's all I have today, guys. I'm just sharing again a little bit of my church trauma and the issues that I've dealt with, and not necessarily on the receiving side, but also on the offender side. I know there's a lot of relationships that I've damaged and hurt people along my immaturity and my growth process, and in this season, that's what God is leading me towards, to just restore those relationships, to apologize and have people know my heart and know that I'm not that anymore, and just trying to do my best to restore people's faith in God, not in me, because I know what God did for me and in my life, and restored me from a lot of things and freed me from a lot of things. And so I just want people to see God when they see me. I just want them to see love and restoration when they see me, as opposed to just my shortcomings throughout my life. And but yeah, I just wanted to share that today, guys, and hopefully it helped. Hopefully you related, maybe in some way, fashion, form. Comment, like, subscribe, and for more videos like this, and stay tuned, guys. All right, appreciate you, love you guys, and see you on the next one. Take it easy.